is February, checking my notes, I shouldn't tell you that, you see me doing that. It is February 20th, Tuesday. It's really late. It's like almost 10 o'clock at night and I'm taping this. Who knows what will happen? And I'm taping it because I got all set up and I thought, well, I'll tape first thing in the morning because my husband's on a golf trip. And I thought the house would be quiet and I'll get it all taped and he's coming home tomorrow afternoon, so I'll get that all done. And of course, you know what happened. I got everything set up and I thought, might as well just tape. So we're going for it. Hopefully it's not crazy. But this is FlossTube 27 and I'm Karen Combs and welcome. This is a video about stitching. So if you're new, I have some playlists, some of them have quilting. This is about stitching, so welcome. I want to thank everyone for your comments, for your thumbs up, for your likes. I guess thumbs up and likes are the same, but thank you for that. And just thank you. I had comments on the video last time. I had comments on the Instagram, and I appreciate that. The Instagram, it's like my husband and I joke about the Twitter box or the Google machine, and I just said the Instagram, so sorry, it's getting silly. All right, so I've got some questions and answers to show you. I've got a teeny bit of haul because I had so much last time. I just have that much. I have a lovely gift that someone sent me that I'm going to show, and I have, I'm not going to tell you how many starts. I'll show you that in a little bit. And a couple questions for you and then what I've got planned to work on. So let's get to the questions. And last time I talked about printing out my 1, 2, 3 order and just putting notes. And you can see here, there's my, let me get to that. See if there's my notes. And I had 5 different orders, 5 different things I was ordering. Some went like 5 different charts that I had things ordered for. Some was just maybe 1 thread, or then I did order a chart with the threads and I ordered linen for something else. So I put a note on this after I printed it out so that I would remember, because when I was gone to Florida, I ordered several times. I thought, I'll remember. No, I didn't. So that is one thing I showed you last time, and Connie mentioned that in 1, 2, 3 Stitch, when you order, there is a spot for notes, and it's actually for the people packing the orders at 1, 2, 3 Stitch. But she puts notes for herself in there, and I thought they'd probably get a kick out of reading it. She said that too, but that's a good idea, because then I could have said this is for that and this is for that chart. And so just a little something to help if you place an order and you're thinking, what was this for? So wanted to mention that. Sandy asked me a question because I was showing, it's here on the table, everything is stacked. Is it there? No. All right, hold on, I have to dig. Yeah, you put stuff in order, and then where is it? We'll find it. Sandy had asked, do I kit with new thread or floss every time? And I think I'd shown, is this it? Yes, it's right in front of me. I had shown this last time. I showed several things. I showed a lot last time. This is something that I purchased and kitted up. This is by Scarlet Letter. Let me go this way. And I think Kim, the Contented Needleworker, Kim is working on this. So this is, what is it? Needlework panel with fruit trees and 2 animals. So I had kitted that, and I showed the floss. And I showed several kits that I had worked up and kitted, and she asked me, do you do that every time? And the answer is sometimes. Sometimes if I'm ordering, like for example on this 1, 2, 3 stitch order, I ordered Winter Sampler. I think that's Kathy Barrick. And I ordered the DMC floss that went with it. I'm just looking. I think it's all DMC. I don't think there's any hand-dyed. So I made a note there. So in that case, I did order it because I was placing the order. And I thought, well, let's go ahead and get that too. Sometimes when I kit, I pull from the case that's right behind me. That's my DMC case, and I have all of the flosses there in order. And when I pull from it, then I make a note of what I pulled. So next time I go to Hobby Lobby or place an order with someone, I can replenish those. So I always can kit something. And sometimes I'll go to purchase to kit and they'll be out of a color. So I like having the whole set right there so that I can pull from it. And sometimes I pull from my stash. And I mentioned, if you watched I did it last year or maybe 18 months ago, FlossTube in the car. I think it was on the second one. I mentioned about purchasing hand-dyed for my stash and how I did it so it wasn't too expensive, which, you know, just spread it out, order 10 or so at a time. And anyway, these are my weeks. There might be one more, but they're on these big, I think these are 2-inch binder rings. And then I put a little tag there, which the reason it's there, it looks nice, but the reason it's there is because it denotes the front. So as I'm flipping through, and these are in alphabetical order, and let's say I'm in the middle, I'm going to set that down for a minute. So let's say I'm somewhere in the middle pulling, I know that there's the front. So it just helps me organize it. So sometimes I will pull from my hand-dyed, and I do not have a complete set of any of the hand-dyes, but I'm working on it. So I don't even know how close I am, but this is all my weeks for right now. So sometimes, I guess the answer for Sandy is sometimes, and other times no. Now if it's silks, sometimes I will, because I don't have hardly any silks that aren't with something that's kitted or something I'm working on. But I can pull from my DMCs and my hand-dyed. So that was a good question, Sandy. Thank you for that. And let's see. What do I do? This was a good question because I finished Live on Little last time and I showed it. And let me set these to the side. Hopefully I don't need these again. What do you do with your DMC when you're done? And let's say, you know, here's my DMC for needlework panel. And I work on it and I'm all done. And what do I do with what's left over? Well, a couple of things, and this is going to be totally personal choice. I have it all stacked up right here. It is. Sometimes, you're gonna probably laugh, but when I make these floss drops, and I'll show you how I do that in a minute, but when I make them, I of course take the bands off, but I save them. And you're gonna laugh, but I save them because if I've used just a tiny little bit of that floss, then I save it so I know what number it is. And sometimes if I haven't used very much, I'll put them back together. I know you're laughing, right? Some of you are laughing, but I'm just telling you what I do. I do a couple different things. This actually is a bag from some that I did not put on floss drops that I just pulled from. And I don't even know what project, but there they are. So they're here, they're not in the bag because they're extra. So I just put them in a drawer. I have a special drawer where I keep the extras so that I can keep them kind of organized. And then sometimes what I'll do is You can get these on Amazon. You can get it at Hobby Lobby. Sometimes what I'll do is put them on bobbins and put them in a case. So this is a particular one. I haven't even filled it all up yet. But these were, can't remember if these are ones I've used or I was going to use. I can't remember. But I'll just have a bunch of those, and then I got the stickers. Let's see, where's the camera? I get the stickers at Hobby Lobby with the bobbins that I'll just put the number. Can you see that? Trying not to. Hopefully you can see the number on there. And I'm trying to go slower. I know I had a couple comments that I went too fast last time, and I apologize. I was out of practice and I had so much to show. So I'm trying to be a little slower this time. But that's another option when you've put them on floss drops. It does run into a problem if you've cut them and you're winding them on here, but I've done it. So, oh, really, I just dropped, I just dropped the tag off of this. It's either stuck on my clothes or on the floor. Okay, I'll find it. And then another option is just toss it. Now, I have done that, especially if there isn't much left, because then it's just a hassle to deal with. But I do like this idea, so I can save it, and you can pick up these. Well, this box was probably from a few years ago, but it was $3.29. I know they're not that cheap now, but I think you can just get these at Amazon too. So all of that just came from Hobby Lobby. The stickers, the bobbin, the box. Yeah, where'd that sticker go? Oh, I see it. I'll be stepping on it in a minute. It's right below my feet. So, Sandy, that's what I do. It's a combination of saving it in different ways, but saving it in an organized way so I know what it is. And if I don't feel like dealing with it, I just don't. So, I hate saying that, but that's the truth. Let's see, Sandy had asked about new kit each time. I don't know who asked. I didn't write that down. Who asked what I do with the floss on the tags. And they had also asked, and maybe it was Sandy, they had also asked, so I have all this beautiful floss ready to go for a new project. When I finish it, what do I do with it? Well, we just talked about that. But the question also was, do you take it off the tags? Now, you don't have to. That's another way. You could just save it and put it in a bag. And I showed this last time. I did, where's the camera? There it is. I did the picture, just reduced it on my printer. And then on the back, I put the name. I think it's upside down. Nope, it's not. Put the name and then put the number. So that's another option. You could just have a ring with these tags with just the numbers. So then you've got it. But her question also was, so do you have a bunch of mismatched tags? Well, I could, or I could switch it to all of these craft tags. Let me show you, because this is a mess. But these are silks that I had for several different projects, and it was before I had the winder, and I'll show that in a minute. The winder makes them all nice and uniform. This was before I had the winder, so they're just all different sizes. So I really like the winder, but I wanted to show you. These are mismatched tags, basically, where I just taped the label, there's the color, and I did separate them into the two projects. So yeah, I do have some mismatched tags there, but there's a lot of silk left here. And then I just put it in a bag so it doesn't get too tangled. And I'm actually using these colors. This is something that's coming up in the fall. I'm going to the Great British Sampler Weekend at Hobby House in the fall, And Nicola sent a chart with no colors. She did 2. And one I finished, that it's getting framed right now. And this one I'm working on. And I thought I'd like to do it in silk. And I have these. So I'm pulling from these because I don't want to waste all these. So I thought this would be a good project because I'm guessing most of the time, and I may be wrong, but I'm guessing when the little girls made these samplers, a lot of times they just pulled the colors. Maybe they didn't have enough of one color and they switched. Maybe they did. But I thought I'm just going to do that, use these silks. And I've got part of it done. There'll be a needle here, but this is, I can't show you the chart because it doesn't have any colors, but here it is. So there I am, working on the words. And I don't have the rest of it figured out yet. But that's the answer to that question. Yes, sometimes I have mismatched tags, and if that bothers me, and sometimes it does, I like it uniform, and sometimes I don't care. But if I want it uniform, I can switch, or I can, do these craft tags. These, I think you get about I know you get more than 100. I put the link last time. If you would like the link to this, you can look at last video or put in your comment that you'd like the link for this, and I'll put it in this one. Okay, let me move this. Let me check to see our notes. Okay, finished that one. Had a lot of questions this time, so I wanted to make sure to answer them. All right, just don't want to mix all this up. All right, I'm going to save this. We're going to talk about this. Now, Marcia asked, where is that? Nope, I'm not going to go to Marcia's question first. I'm going to go to Ellen. She had a question. She had 2 questions. She had a question about my book of days. And the question was, you had shown, and I was showing the different months, but then I also said I added pages. And in the back, and here's my starts with a really wonky letters. Here's my finishes. And here's my whips. So I added those, and there's 2 pages. Actually, there's that page, and did I add the new ones? Oh, I didn't add the new ones. I'll have to do that. Well, the new ones are under starts. I guess they'll become whips next year. I don't know. But anyway, she was asking about the letters. Where were they from? And what I did is this. I used a couple of sticker books, and you probably have seen these, and I think I know they're on Amazon, and I'll put a link, but these may be on sale because they're older. This is one. Let me get it here. So this one has all kinds of stickers, and I think the alphabet's in the back. Let me look. Yes. No, the alphabet is spread through the book. Like here's different V's. So what I did is pull, and I have 2 books, but I'll show you. What I did is pull the stickers and just put it there. And like on finish, no, I didn't put finishes because I didn't have room. And starts, to me, still looks wonky because of the font. And I had to kind of alternate them because they were different sizes. And I thought, well, they're going to look weird anyway, so I'll make them wonky. This is the other sticker book. This one, I think I got this year, last year. No, I think I got this one this year. And I kind of waited till they went on sale, half price. This one has got the letters in the back. And there's just all kinds of different stickers. All right, this one has the letters in the back. So some of them are capital. I don't think any of them are lowercase, actually. I think they're all uppercase. So that's where the letters came from. I don't think I used anything else. I think I used those. So that was a good question. I hadn't even thought about talking about that, but the pages I added were starts, whips, and finish. Finishes, but finish. And then Ellen also asked about, when I showed this, about the floss. How do you get it all the same length? This winder, and I'll put the link in the description. This winder is from RNR Woodworks in Kentucky. And I'll put the direct link there. This one, oh, and I didn't measure it. I think this is the 9-inch. Hold on. I have a ruler right here. My sewing machine's right here. Let me just lay it down. Yes, this is the 9-inch. And in my FlossTube 10, I actually do a demo about how I do it. But basically, you take your floss, start it here, wrap, and then finish up here and cut. And that makes all of your pieces 18 inches. And then you can, show you, loop it just like that. And the reason I like doing this, I'm going to get my needle and see if I can show you. I need glasses. The reason I like doing this is when I pull thread off of here, I can actually grab that loop. So I'm going to try to do it with my needle here and see if I can show you. Okay. Where's the camera? All right, I'm going to start it and then do it. Okay, so you take your needle and see how I've grabbed a loop. Where's the camera? There we go. I'm sorry, I'm moving around. I'm trying not to. And then I can just pull it right off, which I don't want to pull this because I haven't started it yet. But that way it pulls right off. Let me set my needle down. And it makes it really easy. All right, let me take the glasses off. But I really like this because they're all uniform. They all look nice, but then I can also grab it. So that is the winder. And they've got lots of different woods. It's thin, but I've used this I don't know how many times. It was a good purchase. They have a lot of other wonderful things there at the website. All right, I'm going to just put this together so I don't lose it. But episode 10 is, I believe, where I talk about this. And I'll put that link. Okay, let me move these things. I had one more question, and then we will look at some what I've been working on. I have some notes of things I want to tell you, too. Marcia said she is an Ada stitcher. What should she look for? Because she loves all of it. What should she look for? So if you are an Ada stitcher, one thing I can tell you is more than likely older charts, and by older I mean centuries older, charts like this, and this is When Thou Art Rich, and it's 1710 to 1730. Older charts like this, more than likely, will have specialty stitches in them. So the very oldest ones, band samplers, things like this, will probably have specialty stitches. Now, what am I talking about, specialty stitches? Now, in Hands Across the Sea, they will list on their website. You can click on what you're interested in purchasing. It will list linen sizes. It will list a stitch guide. That's where you can see the stitches that are listed, so you can see if it's just cross stitch or do they have specialty stitches. So this one that I just showed you does have specialty stitches. I think I can show this without any problem. It's got cross stitch, satin stitch, Algerian eyelet, and queen stitch. The specialty stitches, which are these, will be difficult to do in Aida, but the cross stitch you definitely could do. So that's one thing to look for, is if you're thinking that you would like to do one of the very old samplers, the oldest samplers, take a look at the stitch guide in the description. And I know Hands Across the Sea is wonderful with that, listing it. Sorry for the crinkling. Let me get that in there. I've got so many things here, I don't want to mix them up. Now, not all older items are going to have specialty stitches. This is one, Dorchy. A lot of you have seen that. I want to do this little sampler. That's all cross stitch. I've already got the silks. I've got the linen too. But just because it's older doesn't mean that you can't do it on Aida. You just need to look at the specialty stitches. Now, let me show you another one that's older that does not have specialty stitches. I always call this James and the Giant Peach, because that's what it reminds me of. But it's Rose and the Giant Pear. And that one does not have specialty stitches. And I'm just reading the description here. On the back, it's got the thread legend. And it also has, it says, this design is suitable for needle workers of all abilities. The stitches used are cross stitch over 2 on linen, and the sampler can be stitched on Aida, Lugana, or linen. And then it gives the sizes. So that's something else to look for, is if you're at a store, flip it over and look at the actual booklet to see if it says it. Let's see. There's the silks. This is all ready to go. This is another one that's older, 1822 Ruth Gibb. This one is a red work. And I'm going to try to hold it so the light doesn't get it. That's Hands Across the Sea. And let me see what it says. Same thing, can be done on Aida or Lugana. Now I'll show a couple more examples, because there's many samplers and designs that can be done on Aida. And I would say most of the newer things out there are just strictly cross stitch. But I'll show you some examples. But I want to show you here, look at the linen. This is the linen, but then I'm going to talk about Aida. I'm going to try to hold this so you can see it. You see it has the different sizes of linen and what the cuts would be, what you would need. Now, if you are an Aida stitcher, and on here it said 28 count linen. Well, on 28 count linen, we do over 2 threads. So 28 count linen is the same as 14 stitch Aida. You just divide it in half. So 32 count linen is the same as 16 count Aida. 36 count linen is the same as 18 count Aida, and 40 count linen is the same as 20 count Aida. And if we talked about Lugana before, by Lugana, if you want to switch from Aida and start doing linen-ish, or trying something like linen, Lugana or even weave, and we talked last week the difference between Lugana and Johg-van and even weave, that was last time. But even weave comes in often 25 count, 28 count, and 32 count. So let's say you prefer 16 count Aida. So that would be the same as right here, 32 count linen. So it would give you the design size and the fabric size. I always double check what I need to cut for my linen or my whatever fabric I'm using, I go to the cross-stitch calculator, and you can just go to Google, type that in, cross-stitch calculator. It will come up. On one of my very early floss tubes, I actually showed you, we did it in real time. I always double check, triple check, just to make sure. But I just want to show you here, 32 count, if you're going to show that or do that. But you want to do Eta, well, 32 count over 2 is the same as 16 count Eta over 1. So hopefully that makes sense. But that was a good question. I have a couple more things to show you about Eta and what to look for. What is that? Okay, that's so much here. I love the drawn thread charts. This is one I have all kitted up. I haven't done it yet. This one is kitchen garden, but every drawn thread chart I've seen, that doesn't mean all of them, but all that I've seen have specialty stitches. So if you're thinking about getting one, just take a look at it first. So to see if you can stitch it on Eta. Now here's a blackbird that I have kitted. Haven't started it yet, but this has come into my garden. And what you can do if you're in a store is flip through the chart and see if it gives you a stitch diagram. Because normally if there are specialty stitches, there'll be a stitch diagram. This does not have one. So that means it's just Eta, all right, just cross stitch, so it could be stitched on Eta. And I was looking at, I think I can show this. Here's the front page with all of the flosses that you need, the colors. And it doesn't say anything about being able to stitch it on Eta, but looking through it, it looks to me like it's just cross stitch without any specialty stitches. I'm just checking on the back. So that's another thing. If you're in a store and you can look at the chart, you can flip through it. The shop owner also could help you with that if you're looking for that. Now here's one that's a blackbird, Oh Joyous Day. This one I also have kitted. Now I'm going to hold this up longer. This one does have some satin stitch, but I'm going to show you. I'm just going to check and see if that's the only thing there is. Oh, there's some Smyrna crosses. Where are they? All right, there's some Smyrna crosses, so that you might be able to do. I'm not sure, I haven't looked at it. Let's see, inside the flower. You might just be able to do cross stitch there. But the top border, right in here, is satin stitch. And I showed this, I'm going to back up so you can see that it's blackbird. I had several people when I talked about, oh, I don't know if I want to do all that satin stitch. They said they did it in simply cross stitch and it was wonderful. So that's something else to look at if you're stitching on Eta. Look at the design and see, can you substitute just cross stitch? Then you could stitch it on Eta. I was looking at, I just grabbed a couple of charts. These are some new ones that I've just purchased. This is Kathy Barrick and Heaven and Nature Sing. I don't have it kitted yet. But on the back of it, she does state, and I'm going to flip it over so I can see what it says. All right, I just read it. It says, our sampler, this one, was stitched on 40 count vintage pecan butter by Lakeside Linen using 1 strand of needlepoint silk over 2 threads of linen. So 40 count linen would be 20 count Eta. And then it says cross stitch used throughout. So that's the key. Cross stitch is used throughout. So you could do that on Eta. And I don't think there's any over 1. That's why I had that other one pulled to show you. So that's something else to look for. Look at the description. I'm going to hold it up so you can see it. So if you're an Ada stitcher and you're thinking, can I do those? That's what to look for. Does it have specialty stitches? If it does, can you switch it to just cross stitch? The other thing to look for is, does it have over one? And that's why I grabbed this one too. This has quite a bit of over one. It's all cross stitch, but the animals down here and some of the flowers or inside of the flowers are over one. So that's going to be tough to do on Ada. So what you need to look for if you're an Ada stitcher is, does it have specialty stitches? Can you switch it? And does it have over one? Because that's tough to, I don't know what you could do there, but a lot of the very old samplers I showed you do have some over one, but sometimes the designers will give you an option to switch. Let's say it's a verse over one. You can switch it to something that's over two, and I'll show you one of those in a minute. So hopefully that wasn't too long of an explanation of what to look for if you're an Ada stitcher, but I thought that was a good question. Okay, so now I can go into, I received a lovely gift. Jackie messaged me on Instagram a while ago and asked for my mailing address, which I don't list on my description because it's our house. I don't have a P.O. box. So I gave her my address, and she sent, I'm not going to show it, but a absolutely lovely card. And then she sent this beautiful, let me show you, little box. And inside, and I love what she used for the, to protect it. I don't know if there's an actual pattern or if it's paper that you can buy that looks like a pattern, but I love it. But that's what was in the box, and what she sent me was, she had collected this little acorn. Let me get my camera here. This little acorn she had picked up. She shellacked it, and this is velvet filled with emery. So this wonderful little acorn pin cushion, which is adorable. I love it. And then she also made this needle book and put some special needles in there, which I hadn't tried this particular brand before, which they're kind of hard to find. So what a treasure this is. So these are 28 petites that she found. So Jackie, thank you, thank you, thank you for this. I love it. I have a little shaker tray that I keep next to me with all my things I use every time I stitch, and this is going, both of these are going in that special box. And Jackie, she's an amazing stitcher. She has an Instagram that you need to check out. It is, and I'll put, I don't remember, it's like JAXX440, I think, but I'm going to put the link in there for that. So you can click on that and look at Jackie's Instagram, because she has finished Consider the Lilies, and she did quite a bit of personalization on it. It's spectacular. So be sure to pop on her Instagram and take a look. Now I noticed my camera just went to a different level, which I have Do Not Disturb on it at a certain time at night. Hopefully I'm not running out of battery. I don't know, it looks dark to me. Well, let's keep going. If it stops, I'll have to pick up again. So Jackie, thank you. Thank you so much for that. So last time I had 2 finishes, and I had debated about what to start next. And Live on Little was a finish, and it's big. It's really big. So it took me a while. But I'm just grabbing the things that I want to show you. But I loved stitching it because it just had a certain feeling to it. And where is it? It's over there. I didn't grab it. But it's got sailboat, it's got water, it's got a big house. It's very reminiscent of New England, but to me, it was very reminiscent of the home my parents had up in Michigan, on Lake Michigan. And they're both gone now. My dad's been gone 21 years. I lost him when I was in my 40s. So it's been a long time. So stitching on that reminded me of all those times we visited my parents. And I thought, I want to continue that. I want to continue that feeling I got when I stitched on it, like they were with me, like I was visiting them. So that meant something nautical, at least for me. And I wanted to show you a couple things I considered, and then I'll show you what I started. This is one that I thought about, the New World Sampler. I think that was out a while ago for a retreat, and now it's available for everybody. This is for Plum Street. Hopefully I'm not just making that up. I don't have a linen for it, but these are the colors. It's a mixture of DMC and Weeks. So that's one. I thought, well, that's got kind of a nautical feel. And we have ancestors that were in Plymouth Colony and came on the Mayflower. So I thought, well, that's one. So that's one I thought of. This is another nautical, but it's little. This is Sampler of the Sea by Carriage House. And I thought I could do that, but I really want to work on something bigger. So I'm already telling you why I eliminated them, but I shouldn't do that. I should make you wonder. And then I thought, well, there's this one, which is by Chessie and me, Across the Sea Sampler. And I don't have anything pulled for that yet. But look at that. You get closer. It's got the big flags. It's got the nautical feel. Let me look at it. It's got the house. It's got a boat. I just love it. So that's another one I thought of. And then there's Summer Quaker by Lila's Studio. And I wanted to mention Lila's Studio on their description somewhere. I think it also said that it's just cross stitch and could be used on Ada. Yes, stitches are cross stitch and back stitch, suitable to stitch on Ada. But here's Summer Quaker. Again, love it. It's got that nautical feel. It's also got the Quaker design, and I thought, well, I could do that. I liked that. And this isn't nautical, but it feels nautical to me. This is Land of the Free by Willow Tree, and it's, let me read, it says, the land of the free because of the brave. And I love the colonial houses. Let me hold it up there so you're not getting glare. And when I was a kid, we did a lot of traveling, and we went out east several times, and I just fell in love with the architecture. And then here's another one I thought of. Shores of Hawk Run Hollow. Now, I'm working on houses of Hawk Run Hollow, and I've been working that for a while, but I thought, do I want to start something really big like that? So here's Shores of Hawk Run Hollow. But very nautical, and I just love all of the Hawk Run Hollow. And these are the threads. I showed this last time. I put the numbers on the back. So here's all the threads. Can you guess which one I decided to do? Probably you can, because you saw the threads have already been started to be used. So let me grab that. It's right here. So I started Shores of Hawk Run Hollow. And I went ahead and outlined 3 of the boxes and started working on the first one. Okay, I'm going to back up just so you can see the boxes. And this is how far I've gotten on the first one. And I did darken the sun. I flipped the colors because I liked the dark sun. So I need to change the color of the lips because they kind of disappear. But I liked that brighter or darker sun. Now what I did on the boxes, just a little hint, is when I went around, I'm going to back up. When I went around, I just did one leg of the cross stitch and went all the way around to make sure I had it correct. And then I went and finished some of them. Let me take a look. The first one I finished all the way around. The second one almost all finished. And the bottom one, I'm going to hold that up. I don't think I did the second leg on that one yet. Part of it I did. I'll pull it close so you can see. And the other thing I did is I did one leg, and every 10 I did the full cross. So then I knew exactly how many were 10. See if I can get a close-up of that so you can see. This is the one I haven't finished all the way yet. Let's see. Can you see that? Hopefully you can. So I did just one leg, except every 10th one I did a full leg. And then you can see here on the top where I have started filling in the second leg. But that's just a little hint that I use so it's easy to count. So I can go 10, 20, 30, or however many I need to do. And on the 10th one, make the full cross. And then keep going around. And when I know it's correct, then I can finish the other leg. And that finishing the other leg is a good thing to do when you're with a group, because you don't have to count. You can just stitch. So that's why I haven't done it. I'm saving that for my stitching time. So the question, one question, where can I lay this? Because I did iron it. I want to keep it straight. So that's one of my starts. And the question that I have for you is, when you're deciding that you're going to stitch something, how do you decide what you're going to stitch? Is it a stitch along, maybe? Is it a design you love? Is it because you just want to do the process on that particular one? Maybe it's specialty stitches that you just want to work on. Is it a designer you love? Is it to learn something? I've done all those things. But a lot of times, as in Live on Little, it's a feeling. Like I said, it was like I was visiting my parents again. So it was a joy to stitch because I just had that connection. So a lot of times the thing I stitch, I feel some connection to somehow. So that's my question to you, is when you stitch, why do you pick what you do? And there's no right or wrong answer. I'm just curious. And for me, a lot of times it is that feeling. Now I've got a little bit of haul to show you, and then I've got something else I started. And before I forget, as I was stitching this week, I thought of one thing that I think I've shared before, but I want to share it again. All right, so let's see if I can, this is just my needle here on a needle minder. So when you're threading a needle, especially if you're threading it where you're just putting the thread or the floss through the loop, or you're making, one of my earlier videos I showed you close up, I make a loop and then push it through. Do you ever notice sometimes with your needle, you have a hard time pushing it through that, excuse me, through that eye? If it does, turn it around. Because when the needles are stamped, excuse me, there's a right side and a wrong side of that needle. So if you have trouble threading, try flipping the needle around. And I had to do that quite a bit today when I got to a certain point. And I thought, flip it, and then it went through easier. So I just wanted to share that. That's a little hint. The other thing that I started, and Madam Eva, if you're watching, I told you in my comment you would ask about Antal Ufendel. Was I going to start it, or you'd like to start it with me? And I said, no, I'm not going to start that for a while. I started it. So you can join me. I'll put progress on Instagram, and there's a hashtag for Antal Ufendel, so I'll use that. But I showed you this last time. I was gifted this. And there was no way I was going to start it. But then several ladies or several people, could be some gentlemen too, decided they were going to start. And it was in the Tudor Rose Guild and posted on their Facebook groups. Anybody want to start it? And I thought, yeah, I do. So I decided to do it. I purchased the Vicki Clayton silk. So the silk packs I purchased, I just have a little haul. This is one of the things. I got the silk pack for Isabella and for Anne. So this is Anne, and then Isabella is also included in the booklet. So I went ahead and got the silk pack, and when you purchase it, it comes in a pack like this with the colors that you need and the transitions, or conversions, you know what to do. And they all have their stickers. So these are Isabella's, so I'm not going to take those out of the package. But on Anne's, I took it out of the package, taped the color conversion there, and this is a bobbin case. I'll put the link. I got it at Amazon. I think 2 of them for $9, $9.90 or something. So there they are. So there I have all the bobbins plus the conversion. And I got to tell you, I was a little scared to start it because it's a big sampler. But I thought, oh, come on. You just finished a huge Live on Little. You can do it. It's just a stitch at a time. So I started it. And I can't put it down. I absolutely love it. This is on 40 Count Sleeping Bear by Needle and Flax. And here it is. Here's my progress so far. Oh, let me back up. So I started on the right corner this time, right top corner, and have part of the corner there, and got that beautiful big tree, and started the bush. And this is over 1. I'm going to zoom in on it. I was really scared to do the over 1. Let me get closer. I loved it. I know something's wrong with me, but I loved it. All right, I'm going to back up. So there it is. And I just love working on it. So the color, I hope the color's showing up all right, because it's really dark, what I'm seeing. Hopefully you're not seeing that. So those are my 2 starts. Shores of Hawk Run Hollow and Tall Uffendale. And the only other piece of haul that I got 2 pieces of linen from Kitten Stitcher, mostly because Anne and Isabella take a bigger cut. Most of the time I buy quarter yard. And I only had a couple that were big enough. So I did purchase a couple more just so I'd have some bigger pieces on hand. This is 40 Count Lamb's Wool. And I'm going to put Vintage Country Mocha next to it so you can see. It's a little, they're about the same value, but this one's a little more, not pink, but it's not as tan as this. So it's just a good basic sampler color. And then the other one I purchased was 36 Count Platinum, which is Zweigart. And I've used this before, and I like it. It's just a good basic, and here it is against Vintage Country Mocha. So that's the only thing, those are the only things I purchased. All right, so the only thing I have left, hopefully my battery finishes, or doesn't conk out, and hopefully this is not so yellow that I'm seeing. What am I gonna do next? Well, I'll probably keep working on Anne because I'm loving it, so I'm gonna keep working on that. But I'm doing a little stitch along with some of the gals that I met last year in May at a retreat, and then also at Hobby House in the fall. So we've been texting back and forth, and we're gonna do a stitch along, but it's gonna be pick your own project. And we decided, since we met at retreats that featured Hands Across the Sea, Scarlet House, and Needlework Press, that we could buy something new, or we could pull from our stash one of those 3 designers and stitch that. So we're going to start that on the 29th, and we'll check in on our progress every 29th of the month, and then in a year we'll hopefully be done. So I decided to do the Scarlet House. Home is where my samplers are. Now this is something we got in the retreat that hopefully will be released maybe later this year. It's a pillow and it's a kit. So I have the 103s and the linen there. It's not, let's see if I can open this without too much crinkling. It's, let me put it down here. It's not real big, but I think it's long. I'm sorry, I'm gonna just do it quick so it don't agonizingly slow crinkle noise. All right, here we go. Okay, it's 50 high, which isn't very big, and 132 long. So I'm thinking that shouldn't take me too long. And then when I get that done, I'll switch over and keep working on and tall as the rest of my stitch along with that group. So I'm going to be working that on the 29th. And then on the Sampler Rose Guild, we have Robin, Sampler Bird Stitchery. She's going to be doing a class, so I purchased the kit. It's a tomato fob, so I need to make my fob. So I'll be stitching the front and back, and then she'll be in our class, be showing us how to put the tomato together. And we had the option of a tomato fob or a pumpkin fob, and I got both. So I need to stitch at least one of those so I'm ready for the class. Did I hold that up long enough? I don't think I did. So that is Sampler Bird Stitchers. And she has an Etsy shop. So that I'll be working on. I need to do that. And then all of you have seen this. If you're in a Facebook group, the Big Awesome Project, Charlotte Warrington. And I did order it, and I thought, you have no business doing this when you're already doing and tall Ufendel, which is huge, but I got it anyway because I really like it. Here it is. And they're going to start a stitch along with that on March 1st. I might start it. I don't know. I haven't decided. I don't want too many big projects, but I think they're going to take some time. It's on Mason linen. Here's the colors. I got the overdyed. So I think I'm going to start it on March 1st. I'm not sure yet. Not 100% committed to that yet. But that's one thing I might be working on. And then, oh, and I forgot to write it down. I'll put it in the notes, in the description notes. There is... didn't write it down. I wrote everything else down. I did not write that. Going to be a stitch along starting June 1st for GH 1875. And I just purchased this from Kitten Stitcher. And it's got a beautiful sampler, and then the booklet also has a drum, needle book, things pulled from the sampler. So that's the book. And then I purchased, even before I knew about the stitch along, I got the Vicki Clayton silk pack. And I just love the colors on this. Here are the, let's see, there's the sampler, a pin drum, an oval pin cushion, scissor fob, needle book, mattress, and it has an alphabet. Wow, it's got a lot. I think I can hold this up. I got this from Kitten Stitcher. I don't know where else it's available. I'm sure it's available other places. This is who it's by, which I cannot pronounce. I'm going to put it up there so you can get a picture of it, trying not to shake. But you can also Google, which is what I did, GH 1875. I think the attic has this too. and they could do a silk conversion for you. Let me see. It's also got DMC, so you could do DMC. Trying to see. It's got a, see if I can show you without. It's also got, came with a nice card, floss card. So yeah, you could do, so I'm just looking. The sampler has DMC, or it's got hand dyed with one of Veriswa. So it looks like you've got some options there, but I just loved the colors so much. I went ahead and got the silk pack when I saw that was available from Vicki Clayton. So that's where I got it. So that's June 1st. I have to pick a linen. I haven't done that yet, but I think I'm going to do that. So that's what I've got coming up. Right away, I need to work on this next week. And I need to get one of my scissor fobs, probably that one. Need to get that stitched because our meeting's coming up pretty soon. So I think that's it. That wasn't too terrible as far as me being tired and silly and messing up. So that's good. Just looking at my notes, I think we have covered everything. So that is a wrap on FlossTube 27. So I will probably get everything uploaded tomorrow on Wednesday, the 21st. So that's it. Thank you for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed this. In your comments, if you have questions, please put them. I always love reading the questions, and I always think, well, what else can somebody ask? And then there's the best questions that come up. I thought, I didn't even think about talking about that. Excellent question. So I love that. I love reading your comments. I appreciate your support. I appreciate your watching. It means more than you will ever know. So thank you for that. Okay, I've said it's a wrap. It's a wrap. Good night, everyone. I'm going to now clean up, and it'll take me forever to clean up, and maybe by then I'll be relaxed enough I can sleep. I didn't drink any coffee before I started this. I knew better than that. But until we meet next time, which should be in 2 weeks, maybe 3, I wish you many happy stitches. Bye, everyone.